Good evening, I'm Hannah Ackwell.
I'm Andrea Anderson. A scary situation taking place this past weekend when a 5-year-old girl was struck by a drunk driver.
Her great aunt speaking for the family about how this simple bike ride on a road they always take turned into the family's worst nightmare. On Sunday night, 5-year-old Mackenzie was following her older brother on a bike ride in their small town of Ruthven, Iowa, when they were about to turn the corner to go home, and the unexpected happened.
Looked back and she wasn't there. So he turned around and went back, and she was unconscious in the road, all bloody. Her shoes had been knocked off. Her bike was gone. And he was obviously horrified, devastated, and took off and went home back around the corner to get his mom.
Mackenzie had been hit by 22-year-old Leticia Whitting of Estherville. Palo Alto County Sheriff John King saying the woman hit Mackenzie and fled the scene, dragging her tiny bike almost a quarter of a mile down the highway.
She has a punctured lung, a lot of internal bruising. Her liver was very bruised, which was very concerning. Initial concern about a head injury, damage to her ankle. She had to have stitches on her face.
And after all this,
she is coming home today.
While Mackenzie is incredibly lucky, many others in her situation aren't.
13,000 people this year that were killed or injured by drunk drivers. And that is an alarming number of people.
According to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, 2 in every 3 people will be involved in a drunk driving crash in their lifetime. For Mackenzie, her incident took place during the 100 Deadly Days, which starts Memorial Day and ends on Labor Day.
In that time frame, we see a huge increase in alcohol-related crashes, and that is on the roads, but also on the waterways as well.
Johnson went on to state that 100% of all drunk driving incidents are preventable. She says that if you do plan to go out and enjoy a few drinks, to find a sober ride home. Today, Trisha and the rest of Mackenzie's family say they're lucky.
We can't wait to have her home and love on her.
The family does have a donation system set up to help pay for Mackenzie's hospital bills. You can find it with this story on dakotanewsnow.com.